Hello everyone, I'm Wade. I'm sure you have kept up with most of the news that's happening right now with Ukraine, Russia, and there's just a lot of things that's going on. And as it continues to go on, today we have invited a very special guest to be here to share some of her insights with us. And so we are very grateful and appreciative of your time here. So could you share a little bit about yourself? What's your name?
Hi everyone, my name is Leah. I'm from Ukraine, Kiev, Ukraine. And I've been living here in Taiwan for 5 years. I've been studying here. Yeah, my family right now is in Ukraine.
Okay, so first to start us off, can you tell us how has your world changed? Because probably last year sometime it was still just regular, going about studying and enjoying life here overseas. But towards the end of the year, I'm sure there was a little bit more tension, and then certainly a few weeks ago, I'm sure the world has changed. So what has that been like?
It's weird. It feels like nothing really matters to me anymore. Like breaking up with your boyfriend,
right?
And like
just the mundane stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Nothing really is important.
Right.
Except for my family.
Yeah,
the safety of my family.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It just feels like surreal. Yeah. Also feels like a very long nightmare.
Yeah. I heard a quote before saying that the worst thing that happened to you is the worst thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like the worst thing that's happening to you perhaps now is this torment of like I'm not there, or like survival guilt and that kind of stuff. And that is the worst thing that's happening to you right now, right? And the people in Ukraine and in Russia, like the worst thing that's happening to them is like the worst thing that's happening to them. So I feel like that's also a sense of relief to let us know that we can only really control the things that are within our control.
Yeah,
there are other things that are completely outside of our control, and we just try to do our best, right?
Yeah.
All right, so could you also maybe share a little bit about some of the background concerning Russia and Ukraine?
Well, the history between Russia and Ukraine is very long. Geographically, Ukraine was always a very desirable location because the soil there is really good, and then the sea and everything. So everyone was trying always to
claim that spot.
And we were always trying to defend it and trying to be independent. But because we're not a big nation and we didn't have a strong army, we're always seeking help from others. So one neighbor is hitting us, we're asking for the help to another neighbor, and then this neighbor hits us and we're asking for others' help. Yeah, and in this way, when two other neighbors, Turks and Polish people, they attacked us together, we didn't have anything else to do but to sign an agreement with Russian Empire for them to protect us, but we're going to be a part of the Russian Empire.
Right, so forced to...
Yeah. And since that day, the Russian-Ukrainian relations were really interesting. We have the shared history, but yet it's pretty different.
Later on,
how
did they separate?
Yeah, when the USSR came to fall apart, we became independent. All 15 states of the former USSR became independent, and we became independent in 1991. Some were in 1992. We just began to try to live
establish
our own culture, our own country. Just build our own country. But at first, we still had really close ties with Russia, and we were having good tradings and relations and everything. But then when people decided that they want to look towards EU, Russia wasn't really happy about it.
Right. Right now, obviously, we see that Putin had an idea of perhaps taking Ukraine within a couple of days or weeks,
the blitzkrieg.
That very quick, right? Yeah. But obviously, we know that it's been dragged out.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of it has to be contributed to the Ukrainian spirit, right?
Yeah.
Can you share what's uniting the people to fight, kind of this fight so passionately?
Yeah, as I talked to you before.
Yeah.
I feel like we as Ukrainians love to fight amongst ourselves. Yes, about politics. About some cultural things, just love to say, I'm right, you're wrong. But when it comes to some crisis situations where I feel like it's a part of our history and it's kind of in our DNA, because we were always fighting to be in this land and to stay on the land and stay independent. I feel like it's almost like a DNA thing at this point.
It's like triggered, and you're like,
and we're like,
we're criticizing the Ukrainians.
Yeah, and when these kind of crises come, everyone forgets their preferences in like government or like any other differences. Yeah, and that's what happens with Ukrainians. Like, if you're trying to like establish your own authority over us, you're trying to tell us or to make us do something we don't want to do, we're
unite together.
We're uniting. We're fighting.
Cause.
Yeah.
I use the illustration of me and my sister.
Sister,
and it honestly feels that way,
Yeah.
right? Like, obviously, if you have siblings, you fight. Very normal. You fight with them, and sometimes you might like hurt them, but like, you know, you love them.
Yeah.
They are your sibling.
Yeah.
If anybody else were to like fight them or pick on them, no, that's unacceptable, right? It's like that DNA thing comes out, and you're like, no, I have to defend. We come together. This is my flesh and blood. So I feel like that's what we're seeing with the Ukraine.
I never even thought that we could be that united.
Really?
Even though like in 2014 it kind of we felt it,
Yes.
but it was in such a smaller scale. Right now, every time I see like those bombings of citizens, even though it's like completely different city that I've never been to and I don't have family there, it just feels like they're
hitting home.
And they're hitting family. When you look at those wounded people, it just feels like it's one of your friends or something, or family. It feels terrible. Like every time I feel like my heart like physically aches.
Yeah, it's so terrible to see that, and honestly, I know people who, when we see this stuff on the news, our hearts really go out to everyone that's being affected so directly. It's really crazy because all of this has consequences, and it affects immediately your guys' country, but we're seeing that it's affecting the world. But obviously the world is also taking a stance, which is nice to see, you know, that people are standing up and supporting.
That's amazing.
But can you tell us, again, you mentioned you had family there. What is it currently like for them, the life in Ukraine right now?
So, if I'm talking about my immediate family, which is my mom and my dad.
In the capital?
Yeah, they are in Kiev, and they said to me from the start that they don't want to leave. They're not going to leave.
Why is that?
They told me, if you were here, we would left like the first day or even the day before. But you're not here, we don't see the point of like running away, because if we run, then it's gonna be forever. And they're saying unless Kiev becomes occupied by Russians, we're not leaving. We're not going anywhere.
Wow. So that is home.
Yeah.
That is home.
Yeah.
So for the time being, your family, they're safe?
It's really hard to say right now because Kiev is being bombed again.
Yes.
And even though they're doing a good job of air defense, because I feel like Kiev is that's another reason why my parents don't want to leave Kiev.
Yeah.
Because Kiev is the capital, and we know that it's gonna be protected better than any other place in Ukraine.
Yeah, really putting up a defense there. Man, hearing all of this, I cannot possibly imagine that Russian people, if they also witnessed or heard this kind of news, could stand behind this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, well, I'm sure there are a certain group of people that are okay with it. However, majority, I doubt would be okay with that. Why aren't they standing up? Here we're touching more on like the war propaganda. Do you know like what are they receiving?
First of all, some of them they say are fabricated. Fake stuff, or like pictures of the victims. They're saying that they are actors. For example, the Kherson city that was occupied by Russians as well. They don't allow humanitarian convoys to come into the city to help people. They don't let them come in because they take their own convoy, come in to shoot the perfect picture. Look, people are so happy. We're saving people here. And so on. They're basically completely switching the
narrative.
Whole narrative around. They're saying we're paying the actors to do it. This is all our propaganda. And the most important, they're saying we are bombing our own people.
It's so sad. So there's so much of this war propaganda going on. How do we discern what's real? And how do we, get away from disinformation and misinformation to hear the truth? Because I'm sure you yourself must have gotten into more news sources and information watching and keeping up with it. Like, how can we make sure that we're doing the same?
Before expressing their own opinion or what they think they know, actually do more research. And try to watch different sources. Okay, you're watching some Chinese source, watch the Taiwanese one. Go to the BBC.com and watch some news there and make up your own mind. Don't let it's just one side of the story dictate you the truth.
Yeah, because then you're in a bubble, right? And it sounds like that's maybe what's happening to Putin. He's in a bubble, and he's thinking like, oh, this war is going my way or whatever. And it's so important for us to confirm our sources. Because it's very easy to be misled. And if you only listen to one source, of course, that's going to be your truth. A lot of heavy stuff we shared and talked about today, and it's really hard to hear these stories, and especially even to know someone that's directly impacted by this. But we are very grateful for the opportunity for you to come and share with us your story.
Thank you for sharing and talking about it.
For sure. To end more on a positive note, what are the ways that we can support Ukraine and the people right now?
As I said, share and talk about it. I hope more people talk about it. When more people talk about it, more people care, more people can do something good. And also, this helps the disinformation that is happening, the propaganda that is happening. The more you share on your Instagram stories or something to your friends that might be actually thinking in a little bit pro-Russian way and not realizing what is happening. If they see that their own friend, they might want to start talking about it. They might want to start researching and reading more about it, and that could really help with propaganda. As well as, if you can donate, please donate. If you cannot donate, share the donations. Ask other people the links and everything. We will still have to pay a lot of money, and a lot of money that we will have to spend on all this military stuff will go to the military stuff and will not be spent on rebuilding Ukraine.
There's even that. And military expenses are expensive.
Really expensive. It's crazy. I started to look at this. To research. I was shocked.
Mind blown.
So if you can support military, it actually really helps. Even though you might think you don't want to support killing people and stuff like that. But it's
people defending their homeland.
Exactly. We're defending. We're not invading anyone. We're not terrorizing anyone. We're just defending our own people and our own independence.
Well, thank you so much again for your time. And we appreciate you coming in and sharing your insights. And really, we wish everything of the best with your family, and prayers and thoughts are with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Bye.